late. We're just about to start the class when everything just went outside, right? So we just have to come up with this as an alternative. I believe we all can hear me clearly. I'm just trying to open my other laptop because I was able to send the files to it. Maybe if this other one goes off, or we can use the second laptop to continue the class. So good evening everyone, I believe you all can hear me. It's raining heavily out there, so the network might not be stable, but I believe we should still be able to do something with this. Okay, today's class happens to be the last class we're to have in the course, PCR271, and we're actually calling it out for the course today. As soon as we are done with the course, today's class, we have to call it up the course, so that we can do some other things by next week. So that is why it is a must for us to have this class. We just have to have this class. We cannot skip this class. So while the other note is downloading on the other laptop, so let's just focus on this now. So I welcome you all on board to another time with Tutor.io in Fantastic Tutor. And in today's tutorial of PCR271, we are going to be talking about conflict resolution. It's a very, we've come a long way. It's a very voluminous material, and we've come this far. And today, we're taking our bearing from. Okay. So, with that being said, let's go straight into it. Just a moment, I'm just trying to. Okay, just trying to get my things together. Yes. So today we are talking about conflict resolution. This is not something new to us. Something. I believe you can hear me, right? Am I audible enough? Please, if I'm not audible enough, just let me know in the comment section that I'm not audible enough, but I believe I should be. Okay, now the word conflict resolution, I believe is not new to us. It's something we have been talking about in the course of this course, and we'll be dissecting it properly tonight. Now, when we say conflict resolution, it's the combination of two words, right? Conflict and resolution. By now, we already know the meaning of what conflict is, and when we say resolution, all right, it means two different things entirely. Conflict is a word on its own. Resolution is also a word on its own. Conflict, we know by now, is the disagreement between parties. All right, the disagreements between parties. I'm just trying to ensure that the material is open on this other laptop, because I'm not sure this other laptop will take us far. Okay, so that's why. Sorry that my attendance will be divided. I just want to have that backup set, that in case this usually the laptop I usually use shuts down, we can switch to this other one and continue our class. Okay, yeah, very good. I have it here now. Yes. So now, resolution is the attempt made to resolve a conflict. All right. Now, according to Miller, let's see the definition by different scholars. So I'll try to be as audible as I can, and please, you can use the comment section if we, by any chance, at any point, get lost or don't get something. Please, let's use the comment section. Okay, I have Miss Regina, Mr. Zubai, and Miss Tasha, it's good to have you on your call. Now, speaking of which, conflict resolution is said to be, according to Miller in 2003, conflict resolution is said to be what? A variety of approach. A variety of what? Approaches. Okay? And these approaches is what? Aimed at terminating conflicts. A variety, right, of approaches aimed at terminating conflicts through what? Constructive solving of problems. Now, the key point here are variety of approaches. Approaches that is determined at, that is aimed, that is targeted towards terminating conflicts, putting an end to conflicts through what? Constructive solving, not destructive, but constructive solving of problems, distinct from management or transformation of conflict. Then we refer to this as conflict resolution, according to Miller. Now, Miller is spelled M-I-L-L-E-R. Okay, that is Miller's definition. Now, according to Miall et al., that is M-I-A-L-L-E-T-A-L. After the Miall, there's a space, there's an E-T, there is a space, then A-L. In 2001, indicates that by conflict resolution, we are simply talking about, it is expected that deep-rooted sources of conflict are what? Addressed and resolved. Miall et al., Miall et al. In 2001 says that, talking of conflict resolution, we are simply talking about the discussing, the addressing and resolving of deep-rooted sources of conflict. Okay? It is expected that deep-rooted sources of conflict are addressed and resolved when it comes to, all right, conflict resolution. Okay, so we have that as that. So also we have what we call conflict management. Okay, my small power bank goes off, so let me just switch over to the other system, or better still, just conserve the battery life of the other system. Switch on my lamp. I think this would be better. Switch on my lamp. Okay. Yeah. So if this goes low, I think I'll just take the other lamp. No, this is too close. It's spamming me to take it up a little bit further. Okay. I think I have a better one. Just a moment. Okay. Yep. I think this is better. So now let's get straight back into it. Now we have conflict management. When we say conflict management, it is said to be the process or an act, all right, geared towards reducing the negative and destructive capacity of conflict through various means or measures, and working with and through stakeholders. What did we call stakeholders in conflict? People that the conflict affect directly or indirectly. Those are stakeholders involved in a conflict. Now let's take this again. Conflict management is a process or an act. Okay? It's a process or an act. Whether a process, whether an act, it is geared towards something. All right? It is geared towards reducing. It's different from conflict resolution. Here, when you're managing it, you are not, management does not mean solving or putting an end to it. According to what we have here, it's said to be reducing the negative and destructive capacity. It doesn't eradicate, it only reduces the what? Negative and destructive capacity of conflict through what? Various means or measures, and by working through and working with the stakeholders, which are the people this conflict is directly affecting or indirectly affecting. So we have that as that. Now let's continue. That is for conflict management. Now let's talk about some other things which we have here. We have conflict transformation. Okay, and just before then, let's quickly touch on what is called it says here that sometimes conflict management and conflict regulation. Please permit me to open the window since the rain has stopped so that some fresh air can come in. Just a moment. It's so hot in here now. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, some fresh air. Okay. So now I said it is sometimes used synonymously with conflict regulation. Conflict management is synonymously used with conflict regulation. Now, according to John Burton, Burton is spelled B-U-R-T-O-N. All right? According to John Burton. Okay? Now, Burton in 1990, Burton refers to conflict management as conflict prevention. All right, which he sees as a what? He sees it as containment of conflict. You see, the word contain, it doesn't mean it is eradicating it. It is only taming, containing. According to John Burton in 1990, he says conflict management or conflict regulation is conflict prevention, which contains conflict through what? Steps introduced to promote conditions in which collaborative and valued relationship contributes. All right, valued relationship controls the behavior of conflict partners. Now, what are we talking about? We are still talking about the same thing here, but in a different approach. Now, according to John, it is said to be conflict prevention, and it is seen as the containment of conflict through steps introduced to what? To promote healthy relationship between the stakeholders. All right, it doesn't really address this root. All right, it doesn't really go to the root. It's more like a make-up, a makeover. Okay, it doesn't really. That's why it's only contain. That's why it's only prevent. Anything you prevent can still be your core. Anything you contain can still really get out of hand or out of containment. All right. So that's what conflict management is, and how long do you, all right, want to keep managing the conflict if you don't address the root of this conflict? So we have that as that. Now we also have conflict transformation. All right. The term was postulated by John Paul. All right. John Paul Lederach. Lederach is spelled Lederach. That's a Lederach. All right. John Paul Lederach in 1995. All right. Talking about conflict transformation. John Paul Lederach in 1995 sees conflict transformation as change. All right. Sees conflict transformation as change. And he says conflict transformation takes place at different levels and has numbers, all right, different levels and has a number of dimensions. Now it says at the personal level, it involves emotional, perception, and spiritual aspect of change desired for the individual. Now, when it says change, what is it talking about? Meaning that conflict is contact, just like we believe, just like what we made mention. If I'm not mistaken, if it's in this course, I think criminology studies and security studies and criminology and security studies also have a course very similar to this. And I think maybe it's in this course or when I was taking their class, something was said about the Chinese, that they don't see conflict as destructive, but they see it as a part of change. All right, it is a process of change. If conflict doesn't, if conflict doesn't occur, then there's no change. So they see it as constructive, not destructive. Right? In view of what John Paul Lederach postulated, conflict transformation is a change. All right. So we have that as that. So as well, we have conflict suspension is a conflict situation which portray the unwillingness, all right, or the lukewarm attitude of the parties involved in conflicts, all right, and all right, when these parties shows the unwillingness and the lukewarmness attitude. Now, stronger interveners who pass the ability to transform or manage conflict situation to take necessary measures leading to management or resolution of conflict. Instead, they use instrument of power or force to push away issues under the carpet. Conflict suppression. All right, conflict suppression. So when these stakeholders are not showing that eagerness or the willingness to let go of conflict, so a greater power imposes that issue are being pushed away. So how well does this really work? All right, matters are being pushed under the carpet when we talk about conflict suppression. Just like the name says, you suppress. And here goes negotiation, something we've talked about before now. All right, according to Fisher, that's Fisher, Fisher et al. In 2000, defines negotiation as a structured process of dialogue. All right, a structured process of dialogue between conflicting parties about issues in which their opinion differs. If their opinion never differs, then there wouldn't have been a conflict. All right, there wouldn't have been any conflict. But it's because their opinion differs. That's why there's a conflict. All right. So now, according to what Fisher said, this dialogue is structured. All right, and this dialogue happens between the stakeholders, all right, or parties involved in conflict, and how they can see nose to nose, all right, and we have that as that. So the University of Peace sees negotiation as communication usually governed by pre-established procedures between representatives of parties. That's what it says here. University of Peace says negotiation is what we call communication, and this communication is governed, it is ruled, regulated by pre-established procedures. If you are coming to negotiation, you already know what you are coming to gain. All right, you already know what you are coming for. So it's not the thing of you want to dispute or disagree. If you don't want to agree, then you should never even have talked about negotiation. So they are pre-established procedures, and these procedures are what installed or implemented between representative of parties, all right, between parties involved in conflict or dispute. So we have types of negotiations, strategies. We have the positional negotiation / bargaining. This type of negotiation is This type of negotiation in which this is the type of negotiation in which parties assert a claim, all right, or right to the object of contention, or the type based on aggressive pursuit of interest by parties, which is usually at, all right, adversarial and competitive in nature. All right, basically it's still negotiation. All right, here you have to bargain. All right, this is my point. This is my point. It's more of bargaining when it won't come up when we talk about the positional negotiation, and we have a collaborative or constructive negotiation. Here, interest and needs. Right? It says a method of negotiation that is based on interest and needs. When we talk about the collaborative or constructive negotiation, all right, we're talking about negotiation that is based on interest and needs. It is designed to produce wise agreements in an efficient, effective, and mutually amicable manner. Let me take that again. It is based on needs and interest. It is designed to produce wise agreements in an efficient and effective and mutually amiable, all right, manner. So we have that as that. Now let's continue. So now we have good office, all right. Good office. This is a method by which an individual, a state, or an international organization act as a third party. Please, if you cannot hear me, let's do what to let me know so I can shut the window because it's already raining outside. The rain is starting. So please, if the noise from outside is too much, please just let me know so I can shut the window. Alright, so good office is when the third party assists in ensuring settlement of disputes. That third party is neutral, is not influenced or persuaded by any of the conflicting parties. That's good office. And we have conciliation, all right, according to the International Law Institute in 1961. Conciliation is said to be a method for the settlement of international disputes or any nature, according to which a commission set up by the parties, either on a permanent basis or, all right, or an hardcore basis to deal with a dispute, proceeds to what? Impartial examination of disputes and attempt to define term settlements, all right, susceptible of being accepted by them according to the parties. The view of a settlement such as A and B requested. Now, when we talk about conciliation, it's said to be the voluntary referral of a conflict to a neutral external party. When there is a referral, note that good office does not require referral. But now, conciliation, we are talking about referral of a third party. Okay? It might be a thing of, okay, we are fighting. Please help us manage the situation. Okay? Referral of a conflict to a neutral third party. Okay? So then we'll talk about conciliation. When we talk about mediation, it involves the use of or bringing a third party to intervene. So now both parties now are deliberate about letting the mediator handle the situation. They must entrust. They must, anything the mediator says, they have to agree because they have handed over the case to him. So if both parties do not agree for the intervention or the coming in of the mediator, then the mediator is not needed. I don't know if you get it. So nobody's imposing. It has to be the joint agreement of both conflicting parties that the mediator should intervene. And that's why the word intervene is used. Mediation involves the use of or bringing a third party to what? Intervene with respect to a conflict. Okay? It can also be referred to as facilitated negotiation. So mediation can also be referred to as facilitated mediation. So we have that. So we also have all right. We also have arbitration. Okay. And speaking of arbitration, another type of third-party intervention in conflict management, which entails settlement of dispute through the use of arbitrators. Arbitration, all right, arbitration can simply be defined as the use an assistant of a neutral third party in conflict who listens to evidence put forward by parties in conflict and later takes decision which is expected to be binding on parties. Decision taken by an arbitrator is usually referred to as an award. The decision taken by an arbitrator is usually regarded to as an award. It's also a third-party intervention. So we have that as that. Now let's take note of this abbreviation, the ICI. ICI is an acronym for International Court of Justice. Okay? International Court of Justice, ICI. Let's take that down. So we also have the PJCI, which is said to be the Permanent Court of International Justice. Permanent Court of International Justice, PCIG. We have that as that. Now let's talk about the concept of the use of force. According to international law, the use of armed force is conceived as a situation where there is a physical application of regular or even irregular armed forces with the consequence of the state from where the application of force is originated. Now, the use of force is also conceivable where such a force deployed against territorial integrity of a state under law occupying by another state. Now, when we say the use of force, all right, the use of force, we are simply talking about, we've talked about negotiation, we've talked about certain things, all right, but when we talk about the use of force now, it's opposite of what we are trying to say, all right. Here, you see countries or conflicting parties uses physical, all right, physical application of regulation, all right, physical application of regulation, either to make their opposing party bend or dance to their tune. All right, here talk about the use of force, and under that we have war. Okay, it's said to be a situation, all right. It says states usually wage war against each other for the purpose of achieving a desired goal or objective. It's normally, all right, resorted to when no peace method of resolving the dispute can be accomplished. Then force is the next option. Okay, but that's under war. Okay, it is usually a show of strength. So you can see dash is a show of strength. When you come across things like dash is a show of strength or act of violence between two or more states through their armed forces, then we have that as war or the use of force. All right, so we have with the intention of the purpose of compelling their opponents to dance to their tune or impose condition of peace as the victor pleases. All right. So it is the case of the champion and the vanquished. All right. So that can also come out as a question. Dash is the case of champion and the vanquished. That is war. So please note that. So we also have okay. So we also have reprisals. Reprisals. Um, it says the word or concept reprisal was known as andidesia. That is ANDIDEPSIA. Andidepsia among the Greeks. All right, and also called reprisaglia. That's REPRISAGLIA. Reprisagia among the Romans. Among the Greeks is known as andidepsia. That's ANDIDEPSIA. But among the Romans, it's known as reprisaglia, spelled RPRISGLIA. Okay, and reprisal relates to coercive action or measures taken by one state against another in the resolution of dispute between states. All right, coercive action, seriously with force, taken by one state against another in the resolution of disputes. So we also have retortion. All right, retortion is another coercive or forcible legal means of conflict resolution by which a nation may show a disapproval by way of retaliation. All right, retaliation or discourteous act of another state. Retaliation is okay. That's under the true retortion. Retortion, I mean. So we have that, and we have forms and types of intervention. We talked about intervention before now. So we have internal intervention, we have external intervention, we have punitive intervention, we have subversive intervention. All right, so let me say internal intervention now. This type of intervention in which an intervening state interfering in the dispute between two warring or disputing parties within the territory. All right, intervention within a territory. Internal intervention. External intervention is when an external body is intervening just to ensure that there's peace in another country. And the punitive is said to take form of reprisal. All right, said to be in form of reprisal for the injuries suffered in the hands of another state, like because of maybe a particular state has destroyed particular state. So based on that, some other states help the other state that has suffered so many injuries to retaliate. All right, and we have the subversive. This could be in form of propaganda or other related activities by one state for the purpose of causing revolt or civil strife in another state. So we have that as that, and that brings us to the end of the course PCR271. Please, for those of us that are yet to become a member of private class, we don't want to miss out on the series of resources we'll be giving out to assist students. Resources like exam keynote, TMA solutions for exam study, and exam practice questions. If you are interested in getting any of these resources or interested in becoming a member of the class, do want to reach out to me at www.door.com. When you get to the website, that's our official website. You find the WhatsApp icon on the top right hand corner. Just smash right WhatsApp icon, take you directly to my DM, and from there we can take it up. Thank you very much, everyone. Please let's do it. Submit our notes to their appropriate quarters, as this is one important thing we use in taking measures of how well we are following the classes. I look forward to see you on the subsequent tutorials. To have a wonderful evening. Bye.